This video has words starting with an. Okay, annual, annual. It's like cool. You don't say cool, you have to say cool. Similarly, annual, annual. When I asked Shereen, what is the meaning of annual? It was celebrated annually. Annually means once in a year, like once in every 12 months or yearly once, okay? An annual function, which means in that year only one function is celebrated. It's like occurring once in every year. The sponsored walk became an annual event. So birthday is celebrated annually, okay? So there's an annual rate of increase. Or it could be book or magazine that is published once a year under the same title but with different content. Christmas annual. Annually, once a year. Every year the prize is awarded annually. When someone is asking what's an annual salary, it's like what's the salary for 12 months altogether. When I say annual weeds, it is of a plant living only for a year or less itself by seed. So there could be some annual plants, they will appear only in that part of the year. So sow your annuals in the spring, which means it grows only in the spring of that year. So usually annual plants last for one season, and there is something called perennial plants which return for many seasons, which come over and over in a same year. But even if the annual plants bloom only once, they bloom continuously throughout the season. But the perennial plants, for example, you can say the roses, they bloom for a few weeks and they fade off, they die, wither, and again they bloom. So there's a perennial, and there are some flower that doesn't bloom for a while, and they keep bloom continuously during that season. We know that annually means every year, and annuity means throughout a period of time you're given something with an interval. For example, fixed sum of money paid to someone each year, typically for the rest of their life. You can say he left her an annuity of €1,000 in his will, which means along throughout the life they will be given money for every month. It's like a form of investment. You are insuring the money so that you'll get it back as a series of annual sums. So for every month it will be splitted and it will be given to you. So loans secured on an older person's home, which are used to purchase a life annuity. So basically there are two types of annuities: deferred, which means postponed or immediate. Deferred annuities allow assets to grow tax deferred over time. So for an asset, you won't be have to paying the tax before being converted to payments to the annutant. Annutant is the person who has invested, so it is called annutant. Okay, immediate annuities allow payment to begin within about a year of purchase. So it is the annuity allow you to save on taxes and derive the benefits on retirement. These accumulated funds are later repaid to you either for a fixed term, say 5 to 10 years, or for the rest part of your life. Are quite similar to the certificates of deposits. So certificate of deposits are offered by banks. Similarly, insurance companies offer different returns on your annuity investment. So you can invest on your annuity. When I say annul, it means null. Yeah, annul basically means nullify or cancel or declare it as invalidate or reverse, because declaring a marriage to have had no legal existence is called annul. Her first marriage was finally annulled by His Holiness, which means it was divorced. Annul could be another form of divorce, and it also not only used in marriages, it is also used to declare invalid an official agreement, result, or decision. The elections were annulled by the general amid renewed protests. The applicant sought the annulment of the decision, which means act of cancelling, annulling something. So members have a period of 30 days within which they can either suggest modifications to the regulations or annul them, which means nullify them. When I say annular, it is related to annual, but it is not annual. It is like circular. Why is annual related to circle? Is the world circle? Is an year circle? When I say the city grew much like the annular rings of a tree, which means circular or ring-shaped or disc-shaped or round. An annular fissure is a type of condition that affects the spine. It usually occurs when the fibers that makes up the tough outer covering of the invertebral disc, it's round in shape, so it's called annular. Okay, annular, either break or separate. The word annunciation and inauguration sound similar, but it is not inauguration. It's kind of like announcing. Archaically or formally, it is announcement of something, the annunciation of a set of rules applying to the relationships between states. But actually, it is the announcement of the incarnation. Yes, incarnation is Jesus, the Son of God is inside a car, and coming to earth in the form of Jesus. Okay, the announcement of incarnation by the angel Gabriel to Mary. So it is the angel telling Mary about Jesus in her tummy. It is actually a church festival held on 25th March, the Lady Day in RC churches. Andrea. Is an a negatively charged Andrea? Because anode or anode in British is the negatively charged electrode of an electrical device such as a primary cell that supplies current. The anode of a device is the terminal where current flows into the device from outside, whereas the cathode of the device is the terminal where current flows outside from the device. So it is full of negative charges, the anode, so the current is attracted to the negative thing. The positive current is attracted to the negative thing, and it is going into the box, into the device. Rio, what comes in your mind when I say anodyne? It's dying because something is killing it. Yes, because anodyne is a painkiller. A pain-killing drug or medicine. She had even refused anodyne. So it is a drug used to lessen pain through reducing the sensitivity of the brain or nervous system. It's harmless, inoffensive, and it also is uncontroversial to the point of being dull. I'm dying. I need anodyne because that is something that relieves the stress or pain. Finally, you can say take a swig of this anodyne before you open that letter from the tax assessor. It is a medicine such as aspirin that relieves pain. It's a painkiller, a mind-numbing analgesic. Aspirin has many anodyne properties. You can also say she tried to keep the conversation as anodyne as possible, which means as non-offensive, that is not likely to cause offense or disagreement, and somewhat dull. So basically, if you say anodyne music, it is like a dull, tedious music. Anointing oil or smearing or rubbing with oil, typically as part of a religious ceremony, is called anoint. It's like high priests were anointed with oil. During public baptism, the head of infant was anointed, which means smear with oil, rub with oil, apply oil to spread oil. Smear or rub something with or any other substance. Kuna Indians anoint the lids of their arrows with poison. Kuna Indians, I don't know much about that. Basically, in ancient days, it is to nominate or choose someone as successor to or lead candidate for a position. His officially anointed hair, HEIR. He was anointed and crowned in that basilica, which means he was like blessed or ordained with. Ceremonially conferred divine or holy office upon a priest or monarch by smearing or rubbing with oil. Samuel anointed him king. When I hear this anomaly, I thought it is anomaly. Normally, it sounds like normally, but it is actually abnormally, because it is like anomaly, mali, not mali, M-U-H, anomaly.
Anomaly.
So it is anomaly, no, anomaly, nor R silent, anomaly, normally, but it is actually abnormal. For example, something that deviates from what is standard or normal or expected, which means there are a number of anomalies in the present system, which means, for example, if you usually see a lizard in this way, okay, this is the normal lizard what you see, but an anomaly is like something like this, which is very deviation from the normal. The angular distance of a planet or satellite from its last perigee. Anomalous or anomaly means deviating from what is standard or normally, which is abnormal or atypical. It's like exceptional or irregular. Well, you are the anomaly. When I say anon, what do you understand? You basically think something not valid, like when I say non-Christian, which means they are not Christian. Similarly, when I say I see you anon, I see you not. No, I see you shortly, because anon informally, archaically used for short, or I see you soon. I see you anon. What crazy, anon. Now we say I see you in a jiffy, but in olden days they say anon. I see you in anon. I see you anon, not I see you in anon. No, wrong. The correct tense way of saying is I see you anon. I say I got this letter from an anonymous person, which means you got it from an unnamed or unknown, unidentified person. The anonymity of big city life definitely has its advantage, which means individual or lack of understanding, having no outstanding or unusual features or unremarkable things you have. So his impeccable, slightly anonymous Chelsea flat. It could be characterless or faceless or colorless, unremarkable. An anonymous London housing estate, which means it's nothing, it is not no remarkable things, it's just the usual casual, nothing much identification about that. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity. They did not reveal where they are calling from. The donors wish to remain anonymous. Even sometimes the offering paid in the church, they want to be anonymous because of a person not identified by the name or unknown name. They announce, thanks to the anonymous person who did not want to reveal their name, and they have given 1 lakh rupees to the church.
Anorak.
So when I say anorak or anorak in British, what do you think? It's a rack where you keep your shirt or shoe, but it is actually a waterproof jacket, typically with a hood of a kind originally used in polar regions. In British, it is informally and derogatorily a studious or obsessive person with unfashionable and largely solitary interests, which means they're not involved in the socially mingling things, and they can be called also as anorags. With his thick specs, shabby shoes and grey suit, he looks a bit of an anorak. When I say the word anorexia, Shereen got reminded of the dinosaur T-Rex, but will T-Rex wants to reduce its body weight? Because an emotional disorder characterized by an obsessive desire to lose weight by refusing to eat is called anorexia. Kim Kardashian, an actress, and her sisters are joking about anorexia. I think I have named calling Anne as I should change Andrea to anorexia, because she also refusing to eat. It's just like or it could be informally extremely thin. The body is positively anorexia, helping to keep the guitar's weight within reasonable limits. Positively anorexia is okay. It could be lack or loss of appetite for food as a medical condition. Anorexia. So anorexia nervosa is a potentially life-threatening eating disorder. A patient with anorexia nervosa, often just called anorexia, although the meaning is different, has a distorted body image and an exaggerated fear of becoming overweight or obese. So a deliberate effort is made to lose weight. The individual suffering from restrictive anorexia is often perceived as highly self-disciplined. They restrict the quantity of food, calories, and often high-fat or high-sugar food. They consume far fewer calories than that is needed to maintain a healthy weight. This is a heartbreaking form of self-starvation. Another is like another day, another drink. No country can be another India to me. So answer or answer in British, and answer in America is, everyone knows, a response. Answerable or answerable in British questions means able to be answered. An employer is answerable or answerable for the negligence of his employees. It's like responsible or having to report to. The Attorney General is answerable only to Parliament for his decision. Antacid in American or antacid in British is just chiefly of a medicine preventing or correcting acidity, especially in the stomach. I prescribed a Caol and antacid mixture. Antagonism or antagonism, antagonize is something you arouse hostility in, or you set someone against someone else, making angry, annoy, or provoke or offend. Cause someone to become hostile. The aim was to antagonize visiting supporters. It's kind of you're provoking them. In biochemistry, of a substance act as an antagonize of a substance or its action. Two other drugs antagonize the antidepressant-like effect, which means they provoked. Antagonized her office mates with her rude behavior. His speech antagonized many voters, which means make an enemy or opponent of. To act in opposition to or to oppose because they are irritated or annoyed. In movies also there will be protagonist and antagonist. Antagonist is like acting against anti-heroism, like villain, and protagonist is the hero. So person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something. A woman was focusing her antagonist's face into the mud. In anatomy, a muscle whose action counteracts that of another specified muscle is also called antagonized. Ante, ante is also a kind of prefix which means before. Anteroom means a room that admits to a larger room, a waiting room. To up the ante is to increase, the price or cost of something. The phrase up the ante means to raise the stakes higher. This can apply in a gambling sense or in any situation which might require such an action. So basically, ante is the initial contribution that each player makes to the pot or place one's stake, especially in the games called poker or brag. So a stake put up by a player in poker or brag before receiving cards. The antes were at the $10,000 to $20,000 level. In North American, informally pay an amount of money done in advance. He anteed up $92,000 of his own money. I say antecedent, it is like you have seen this before. As I said, ante is like before. So antecedent is a thing that existed before or logically precedes another. Some antecedents to the African novel might exist in Africa's oral traditions. Sometimes antecedents could be the ancestors, a person's ancestors or family and social background. Her early life and antecedents have been traced. Ante and ainter has a lot of difference in American English and British English. In British English we call it as ante, and in American English it is antechamber. Antechamber or antechamber. Antechamber is a small room leading to a main room. The antechamber to an interview room. So antechamber typically serving as a waiting room or outer room, reception hall area. In military, a large room in an officer's mess, typically adjacent to the dining room, is also called as antechamber. Pronunciation antidate. No antidate, only antidate. Obviously anti before and date something, indicating or discovering that a document, event or word should be assigned to an earlier date. There are no references to him that would antedate his birth, that would say that he came before that date. A civilization that antedated the Roman Empire, which means come before something in date. So I don't think Indian civilization is a civilization that antedated the Roman Empire, because Roman Empire is much more previous than the Indian. Say an antediluvian, it is like loo, it gives so many resemblance like loo or dilute, basically everything related to water, because antediluvian means of or belonging to the time before the biblical flood. Gigantic bones of antediluvian animals, or humorously, or it can be also meaning ridiculously old-fashioned. Okay, basically it is like the flood of Bible, the water, the flood of Bible, so which is ancient, so it is ridiculously old-fashioned. Also you can sometimes say they maintain antediluvian stereotypes in their movies, which means ridiculously old-fashioned. He complains that merchants in India are antediluvian when it comes to the internet, not now, a decade back. Extremely old and antiquated, okay, very ancient. Okay, when I say antenatal, antenatal means it is like before birth or during or relating to pregnancy. Antenatal care, it is the planned examination and observation for the women from conception until the beginning of labor or till the birth, or it is informally a medical examination during the pregnancy. Neonatal is like if a child is born before the 10 months, it is kept in the newly natal. This is antenatal because like before birth, during pregnancy. Antenna or antenna in British could be the North American technical term for aerial TV, aerial, okay, TV antenna, or it could be faculty of instinctively detecting and interpreting subtle signs. He has the political antenna of a party whip, WHIP, which means he has a very detecting and interpreting signs within him. The minister was praised for his acute political antenna, that ability to understand complicated political situations. Okay, basically it is the ability to understand the complicated situation. In zoology, it is either of a pair of long, thin sensory appendages on the heads of insects and some other arthropods. Bugs use their antenna to detect blood heat. I say anterior in British or anterior in America, it just means the part is situated away from the main body. For example, in botany, of a part of a flower or leaf situated further away from the main stem. Or if we say the anterior placenta, that placenta is situated away from your main body. So basically it is before or away. So it is also sometimes formally called coming before in time or earlier, an incident anterior to her troubles. The interior much before, earlier to her troubles. In phonetics, it is pronounced with an obstruction located in front of the palato. So alveolar region of the mouth, example B, P, D and T. So these sounds are pronounced with an obstruction located in front of the palato, P-A-L-A-T-O, anterior sounds in phonetics. So when it is away from your body, it is nearer to the front, especially in the front of the body, or nearer to the head or the forepart. The veins anterior to the heart, which means the front part. Anthem or anthem in British could be a patriotic song officially adopted by a country as an expression of national identity, or it could be a song of praise. It could be an uplifting song identified with a particular group, body or cause. The song became anthem for hippie activists. Or it could be the musical setting of a religious text to be sung by a choir during a church service, especially in Anglican or Protestant churches. He is nothing but, especially in 1960s, a person of unconventional appearance, typically having a long hair, associated with the subculture involving a rejection of conventional values and the taking of hallucinogenic drugs, okay, hippies. Or sometimes it could be of a woman having large hips, so hippie. She looked very hippie in her jeans. Nowadays, it could be a usually young person who rejects the morals of established society. Say anthology or anthology, it is something that logically correct and you're collecting it. Because it is logically correct, you're collecting it again and again and again. The same logically corrected things are collected. Basically, it is like collection of songs or musical compositions or literary things issued in one album, a double CD anthology of Moby Grape, the legendary band. Or it is a published collection of poems or other pieces of writing, an anthology of European poetry. A collection of literary pieces such as poems, short stories, or plays. Okay, basically it's collections or analects, treasury or garland, etc. An anthology of love poems. Anthology of love poems. It is logically all love. So we have collected in anthology of love poems. When I say anthrax, you get reminded of T-Rex, but anthrax is also something serious because it is a serious bacterial disease of sheep or cattle, and cattle, typically affecting the skin and lungs. It can be transferred to humans, causing severe skin ulceration or a form of pneumonia. Once it was believed in US, this bacteria is made into powder, and it was spreading all across the country in the postal via someone will send you a post. When you open it and touch this powder, you catch this disease, that kind of thing. Even to the president, someone anonymous person has sent this anthrax. So it was very famous during that time in USA. When I say anthropoid, it means something related to throw. Yeah, we are the anthropoid ape because we are thrown from the heaven or thrown into the world. Any tailless apes of the family, Pongidae something, is called anthropoid ape. Anthropological or anthropological in British means relating to the study of humankind. An anthropological expedition to Borneo. So this is different from anthology. Anthology is logically collecting the similar collection of similar things. Anthropoid is you're throwing into the heaven, like into this world, which means something related to humankind. So it is resembling a human, especially in shape or appearance. An anthropoid forehead, which means it is resembling characteristics of a non-human ape or ape-like. Basically it is resembling man or resembling an ape. Ape is nothing but a tailless monkey. And anthropology is the study of human societies and cultures and the developments, the study of human biological and physical characteristics and their evolution. Basically about human, your biological, physiological and society and culture, everything you're learning, that study is anthropology, not anthropology. It is anthropology, anthropology, throwing the man, human, relating to the group of higher primates, which includes monkeys, apes, and humans. And social anthropology is the branch of anthropology concerned with the study of human societies and cultures and their development. She has a D.Phil. of Doctorate of Philosophy from Oxford in social anthropology, like the cultures and the societies of how they developed of the humankind. So all these are apes, like the gibbon, human, chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan. There are anthropoid gods resembling a human being in form. Physical anthropology is the branch of anthropology concerned with the study of human biology and physiological characters and the developments. A world-recognized expert in physical anthropology. Morphing is like a shapeless character that tends to change, right? Anthropomorphic is like having human characteristics relating to or characterized by anthropomorphism. Explanations of animal behavior in anthropomorphic terms, which means in human-related terms. So anthropomorphic also means man-like or human. Anthropomorphic and anthropological both are similar. Both means human-like or man-like. There is something called personification. Personification is the attribution of human characteristics to something non-human or the representation of an abstract quality in human forms, whereas anthropomorphism is the attribution of human characteristics and qualities to animals or other non-human beings. So this could be an example for anthropomorphic thing. Here human-like attributes are given to an animal.
A personification is something in which a cat will speak like human, but it won't look like human. But anthropomorphism is something where a cat will have human facial features, bodily features, and everything, and it also speaks like human in stories and fables.